Okay, so on question 3 here, we've got the curve y is defined as y equals x plus 6, all divided by root x. And for part A, we've got to find the gradient function. So before we can do that, we really need to just rearrange the equation y so it's all ready to go. At the moment, what makes it difficult is with the fraction. So we're going to separate it. So we've got x over root x plus 6 over root x, exactly the same thing. And then we're going to simplify each part. So on the first part of this, we've got x to the power 1, write it down here, over x to the power of a half. And on the second, this is x to the power of a half. So to get that all onto the numerator, we've got x to the power 1, and we're going to take away the indices. So 1 minus a half is a half. And here, we've got 6 on top. Leave the 6 on top. And we're bringing the x up, which means we need to change that positive indice to a negative indice. So we've got a 6x power of negative a half. Right, we're all ready to go. So that's y. We're now going to differentiate to find the gradient function. So it implies that we've got 1 times a half. So you've got half. We decrease the power by 1. So we've got negative a half. Then on the next term here, we've got negative a half times 6. So a half times 6 is 3. And you've got the negative. So you've got negative 3x. And you're reducing this by 1, so you've now got negative 3 over 2. Okay, at that point you are done, but let's rearrange it so we can make it look a little bit nicer and we can deal with it easier later on in the question. With the half here, don't confuse yourself. You've got 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. There's your half, so leave it like that. With the x, this term, x to the power of negative a half, let's bring it down so we can make the power positive. And let's move on to the next term. Negative 3 goes on the top. Don't put the 3 down, it just stays like that. And just like we did with the previous term, when we bring the negative indice down, it becomes positive. So at that point it looks a little bit nicer again, but we can make it look even nicer. We know that when you've got something to an x to the power of half, it's the same as square root of x. So that first term is now 1 over 2 root x. The 3 stays on the top here, and on this term, we can think how many whole ones have we got here, if you like, in terms of the indices. So 3 over 2, we've got 1 whole 1 and then a half left over, and 1 and a half add up to be the 3 over 2. So if we keep going, we've got 2 root x minus 3. We don't need to write that power of 1, so we just write x, and then x to the power of a half is the same as root x. So that's probably the nicest answer there. So we've got 1 over 2 root x minus 3 over x root x, and you're done.